Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Sunday, February 1st, a brand new month starting today. Ian Cameron with you. Alex B. Smith will be resting up today. Little pain. He's in a little bit of pain today. Like I said, day to day. He'll be back tomorrow. I think tomorrow. We do have a guest actually joining up me and Perlo tomorrow, but I think Alex will try to be back tomorrow as well. But regardless, you and I today, Sunday, ready to break down this Sunday NHL card. We've got 3 games on tap here in NHL action for this Sunday. But first, we'll look back on what was a profitable Saturday. It was a pretty good Saturday overall. Didn't win everything, obviously, but we did have some pretty good results overall. Started the day with we did start the day with a loss with Philadelphia. We had first goal, first period. We had small first period money line as well, and full game money line. Give the Kings credit. LA 3-2 win over the Flyers. Flyers got off to that horrible start, down 2-0 early in that game. 2 Adrian Kempe goals and almost down 3-0, but the third goal was disallowed and was brought back due to a challenge. But LA with a 3-2 overtime win over the slumping Flyers, who lose another one, and like I said, falling further behind in the playoff race. Colorado, I'm glad I stayed off Detroit, because I said I had a hard time trusting Colorado as a road favorite, but I don't know if I want to be on Detroit because they had lost 2 in a row, hadn't been playing great the last couple games, the Red Wings, and I was worried that what if Colorado awoke from their slumber and brought their A game and, finally got that wake-up call after a couple of losses on this road trip against Ottawa and Montreal, and they did deliver that wake-up call. 5-0, pretty much in control of that game, really from start to finish, and they were able to get the job done there, 5-0 over the Detroit Red Wings. Nathan MacKinnon flirting with a hat trick, and that was the difference yesterday. The players that were flirting with a hat trick throughout the most of the month, any player that's gotten to 2 goals and has been flirting with the hat trick has finished the deal and gotten the hat trick. That wasn't necessarily the case with the few of the players that were looking for the hat trick yesterday. But Colorado, a nice bounce back from them, 5-0 against Detroit. Do we start getting concerned now about the Red Wings? That's 3 losses in a row for them. They've obviously been playing great hockey, but not their day yesterday, soundly beaten by the Colorado Avalanche. I would not read too much into this next game if I'm the Rangers. It's going to say 6-5 final score. You had your ass beat. You were down 5-1. I thought Pittsburgh fell asleep with the big lead. That's all that was, in my opinion. It's not really anything the Rangers did. Pittsburgh was in control. When the game was on the line, Pittsburgh was just better, and controlled the flow. They were up 5-1, although that is an absolutely sickening beat for anyone that might have had Pittsburgh puck line. That is brutal. You're up 5-1 in the third period, and then of course Rangers, Kindle makes it 6-3, and you think you're safe, and then Lafreniere makes it 6-4 with 1:07 left, and then Will Cooley with 11 seconds to make it 6-5. So my sympathies to anyone that had Pittsburgh puck line. That's horrific if you had that, but that's why I like the team total. That's why with the bigger favorites, I'm never in love with the puck line very often. If I like a bigger favorite, I'm just going to go to the team total. I'm going to trust them that they can score 4 goals. And then it doesn't matter one bit what the margin of victory is. It's just a much cleaner way and safer way, in my opinion, oftentimes to go about it with a bigger favorite. And yesterday was a perfect example of that with what happened with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I will always gravitate to team total over instead of the puck line with a bigger favorite. And we saw that yesterday with Pittsburgh. It's no sweat with the team total over, but a brutal beat if you had the puck line on the Pittsburgh Penguins there in that game. But they get the job done there, 6-5 in that one. So what else did we see? Boy, oh boy, it's getting late early for the Winnipeg Jets. Another loss. They lost to St. Louis in a tough one. Yesterday, just as tough. They go into the third 1-0 with the lead. Winnipeg gets 2 in the third. Florida can't tie the game with the extra attacker, and they lose in regulation 2-1, so they get no points out of that game, the Florida Panthers. And all of a sudden, we've got to really start thinking long and hard about the possibility that this team just ain't going to be able to do it and make the postseason. It is tough waters for them right now, 8 points out behind Buffalo and Boston. Those teams holding the wild card spots. Not saying it's impossible, but now they've fallen to where Ottawa and Toronto are, the other cellar dwellers in the Atlantic Division. So, like I said, just not good news for the defending Stanley Cup champions, and they will have some serious work to do here in these last couple games before the break, and especially in the games following the Olympic break. Got to admit, I was disappointed with San Jose. I was. That's not a good that's not a good loss for them. You know, Calgary hadn't won a game since Rasmus Anderson got traded. They had lost 5-0. They got off to a good start. We did cash San Jose first goal, first period. We pushed with the first period money line, but we had the full game too, and they lose 3-2 to the Calgary Flames. And to be honest, Calgary was the better team. You know, no question about it. They carried the play, outshot the Sharks 42-25. Really, they were given a chance in that game by Nedeljkovic, who I thought played pretty well. So that was not a great performance from the San Jose Sharks. I expected a little better from them after blowing that lead against Edmonton. But like I said, Calgary was full marks for the win. They deserved that one. They definitely outplayed San Jose. They get a 3-2 win. Crazy game with Carolina and Washington yesterday. Washington comes back from a 3-1 deficit to beat Carolina 4-3 in overtime. Justin Sordiff getting the overtime winner. Jacob Chikrin tying it in the third. I get why they were upset, Carolina, that there was a non-penalty call right before the goal was scored by Chikrin. You know, when Wilson laid into Stankoven, it was behind the net. That's pretty brutal that they did not. Call that. And then Washington scored right after that. I know our guy David was not very happy. David from Raleigh, he joins us most Thursdays on the show. Big Canes fan. Wasn't thrilled with that non-call, but Washington comes back. You know, I should have live bet Washington, knowing how untrustworthy Freddie Anderson is, but I didn't. Yeah, I had Carolina team total over 3. And actually, that game still ended up going very well. You know, other than Carolina team total over failing, when Freddie was confirmed, I added Washington team total over. I had first period over. I had Carolina first goal, first period, and first period money line on Carolina. And then I had the full game over as well. So other than the team total on the Canes, that's the only thing that didn't cash for me in that game. It was still a very good game overall, betting-wise for me. And Washington with a 4-3 win. David, we love you, okay? David from Raleigh. He joins us on Thursdays. But I got to listen to what he said in the chat about how he's trying to say, well, everyone's talking about how bad Freddie Anderson is, but Bobrovsky's close to him as far as, I don't know, goals saved above expected as far as where they are. Bobrovsky's not much worse. Bobrovsky's not much better than Anderson as far as goals saved above average. And David was saying nobody's talking about that. They're just criticizing Anderson. Well, hold on now. Come on. You know, I know you love your Canes. I get it. You got to stick up for them. I get it. But come on now. Bobrovsky's won 2 Stanley Cups. Anderson's won jack shit. Okay? So you can't compare the two. Come on. You know, we love you, David. We do. You know, do a great job on the Thursday show, but come on. It's just, a little crazy to try to compare Frederik Anderson to Sergei Bobrovsky. Just a little crazy to do that. Anyway, that was a pretty entertaining game, 4-3 Washington there in that one. We go to the night games, and, yeah, not pretty, but finally the Toronto Maple Leafs get a victory. They beat Vancouver 3-2 in a shootout. All right, I got to say, Nikita Tolopilo, or as Alex has called him, Topo Chico, Topo Gigio, it reminds me of the Ed Sullivan puppet, with that Italian puppeteer. He brought Topo Gigio onto the Ed Sullivan show back in the 60s. That's what Tolopilo's name kind of reminds me of at this point in time. So, like I said, he's been good, though. He was very good even in a losing effort yesterday for the Vancouver Canucks. He's had 2 good starts. He had the shutout against Anaheim, obviously, on Thursday. But Toronto finds a way in a shootout 3-2 to beat the Vancouver Canucks. Austin Matthews with the shootout winner when he had a chance to win it on a penalty shot in overtime that he was not able to capitalize on. But like I said, certainly a situation where Toronto, found a way to win. I thought they had a great third period. I thought that was one of the better periods the Leafs have played in a long time. Now, it did come against a sad sack team, but like I said, nevertheless, you give Toronto a little credit. They needed a win. They got one. 3-2 there over the Vancouver Canucks. Ottawa 4-1 against New Jersey. This is one of those instances where, the goalie off a long layoff did not look bad. He looked very good, in fact. Linus Ullmark played a really strong game in his return, turned aside all but one of 27 New Jersey shots. He looked confident. And remember, he was not coming back from an injury. This was just a leave of absence. So maybe we've got to separate the two for goaltenders returning when they're away. Maybe it's not going to be as difficult for goalies when it's just a leave coming back in and playing well versus a goalie who's been away because of a particular injury. So that is definitely something maybe to compare the two moving forward. Is there a difference? Is it worse for goalies coming off an injury, which it very well might be? So that's something to monitor moving forward when we see these situations unfold. But 4-1 Ottawa, very solid win. We did have a piece of the Sens team total there, over 3.5, so good to cash that. Columbus, they didn't make it easy. It was not easy for Columbus, but they did get the 5-3 win against St. Louis. I know I backed them. A lot of people in the chat I know liked Columbus as well, even on a back-to-back. You know, how well they've been playing right now. And, boy, they are playing so well, this Jackets team. It's now 7-1 record for them with Rick Bowness as the head coach. So it's been damn impressive what we have seen from this Columbus Blue Jackets team. Another victory for them last night, 5-3. And, you know, it shows that, hey, if we need to win low-scoring hockey, they can. If they need to score some more goals to win a game, they can do that as well. That's been the nice thing about this run under Bones. Some of these games they've, you know, had to win higher-scoring games like the Tampa game, the Philly game, the St. Louis game, and they've also been able to win those 1-0, you know, 2-1 games on occasion here. But no doubt this is a team playing really good hockey. 8-1, my bad. Let me correct that. 8-1. Is the record for the Columbus Blue Jackets since Rick Bowness took over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 6, 7. Calgary game was the first game. Yeah, 8-1. It is for the Columbus Blue Jackets since Rick Bowness arrived. So no doubt this team playing some very solid hockey right now, and it continued. And don't look now, Columbus is 4 points. 4 points out of third in the Metro and 6 points out of a wild card spot. So this can be done. You know, this can be done here for Columbus. I mean, they've still got to keep winning. It's still not going to be easy. There is still work to be done, but this can be done for Columbus if they keep that pedal down to the floor moving forward, that they could maybe just sneak in. But again, still a lot of work to do. Nashville, they came back, and I was happy to see that. We had the Predators. I would have loved the draw, Nashville overtime win even more because I had a piece of the draw, but we did have Nashville. They come back from a early 2-0 deficit, and they beat the New York Islanders 4-3. A nice comeback win there for the Nashville Predators in that game. Buffalo, they are human. Montreal with a nice 4-2 win over the Buffalo Sabres. And yes, Mr. Saturday Night, all he does is score big-time goals on Saturday night. Saturday night. Cole Caulfield, Mr. Saturday Night. He's been pretty much everyone's calling him that now. This has been quite the run. I mean, the run he's had on Saturdays, just the last 3 Saturday nights alone, he's had a 2-goal game, he's had a hat trick, and he had another 2-goal game last night. Alex B. Smith with the bargain bin special winner. Cole Caulfield, over 1.5 goals, plus 900. So that was great to see that. And Montreal with a nice 4-2 win over the Buffalo Sabres, and they finally get one over the Sabres. Sabres had beaten them twice this month. I thought Dobish was very good. Very, very good, because I thought there were times Buffalo actually carried the play. Buffalo could have easily won this game. You know, 38-31 shots edge. They had a ton of good chances. This was one of the better performances from Jakub Dobish, and right now, he's your number one goalie. There's no competition anymore. You know, he's the last one standing. You sent Fowler down. You have no faith at the moment in Montembeault. He's the guy. He's the guy right now for Montreal, unless you decide you're going to upgrade your goaltending, but that's not easy to do right now. So, like I said, he's the guy. He's the number one goalie, and he has played the best of anybody in net of late for this Montreal Canadiens team, and that was certainly one of his better efforts last night, beating the Buffalo Sabres by a score of 4-2. Real nice win on the road there for the Habs. That being said, and look, Buffalo has had a better job, you know, with their fans coming out and supporting the team during this great run they've put together. That being said, you got to do a little better than that and not let all those Habs fans just invade. And it's the same when the Leafs play there too, but yikes, it's tough to see that. You know, you're the home team, and it doesn't have any kind of feel like a home game when teams like Montreal and Toronto play there in Buffalo. But Dallas with a 3-2 win against Utah last night. Very good win for them. This was a game where we had the first period over and the full game over. We split, but we did have Dallas first goal, first period. We thought they could pounce on Utah coming home off the road trip. They did. and a nice 3-2 win there for the Stars in that game. What do we say? We love this over. It would have been there was no other choice for me as far as a best bet for Saturday on the show. It was easily for me my favorite bet. Wild Oilers over 6.5, and easily cashing 7-3 Minnesota with the win over the Edmonton Oilers. That was an ugly night defensively for the Oilers, and it was an ugly night in net for Tristan Jarry. I thought he was atrocious on some of these goals, and it's scary to see the way he has played the last few in net for the Edmonton Oilers. Really bad. That one goal, I know Quinn Hughes made a nice play, took the puck off the boards and then banked it in off Jarry, but Jarry looked like he totally didn't have any sort of firm control of the net there and let that puck just squeak right through him. It was an awful goal. That's the goal that got him out. That's the goal that got him pulled in that game last night. And like I said, the numbers just continue to get worse with every start that he's made. And unfortunately, your other option right now is Connor Ingram. There's an issue right now for Edmonton. Like, this is not going to – if you think right now with Jarry playing like this and Ingram as your backup option, if you think you're getting to a third straight Stanley Cup final with this duo, frickin' frack, you got another thing coming. You need your head examined, bottom line. I mean, that's just that's not possible with this goaltending tandem in my mind for Edmonton. And Minnesota lit it up like a Christmas tree in January, although it was January yesterday. Really impressive for the Wild. Everyone got involved except Matt Boldy, the guy who had torched Edmonton repeatedly, is the one guy that really didn't find the back of the net. So, like I said, that was, yes, I did have a piece too, Aaron, of the Wild. Small bet, smaller bet. The over was a big bet, but we did have a piece of the Minnesota money line and team total over. They played well in Edmonton, and once again, they get a win in Edmonton last night. This one, we had Seattle team total and just a tiny piece of the money line on Seattle, because I did mention on the show, I thought that price was just way too high on Vegas. They're just not playing at the level of a minus 190 favorite against a team like Seattle. It's actually playing pretty solid right now. Starting to score goals too. And last night they got Tolvanen, McCann, Kakko coming through for them. It was a very good night from Joey Decourt. I thought he was really strong in the third period to preserve that 3-2 win for Seattle. So nice win for Seattle. And again, the inconsistencies just continue right now for the Vegas Golden Knights. So we had a little piece of Seattle money line and team total. And we did have the over by Fecta. We got the first period over pretty easily, but we did not have the full game over, as that fell short with the 3-2 win. But Seattle, man, we shit on this team so much earlier in the season, but here they are. They're in a wild card spot. So, we got to give them some credit. We do. We have to give them some credit. Like I say, they're pesky. They're not going away. And Seattle, with the victory there last night, is a big dog. Vegas is back in action tonight, and we will talk about that game in just a minute. But first, we will start with the first of three games taking place today, and we have Los Angeles and Carolina to get things started. We have Carolina minus 180 home favorites in this game. Total sitting at 5.5 across the board. Kings and Hurricanes. I think when you look at this game here between these two teams, first thing that stands out is it's been a pretty lengthy road trip for the Kings. They've done a lot of travel, Detroit, St. Louis, and of course Buffalo, and then to Philadelphia yesterday, where they end up getting the 3-2 win over the Philadelphia Flyers. And now you're on a back-to-back down to Raleigh, North Kakalaki here to take on the Carolina Hurricanes. So this is not a spot I like LA in. We'll see if Carolina is on a back-to-back as well. They were in Washington last night, losing 4-3 to the Capitals, looking to bounce back. This is a team that's usually pretty good off a loss. So I think this could be a little bit of a tricky scheduling spot here for this LA Kings team. And it's worth noting, too, they gave up 1 goal to Detroit. They gave up 2 to Philly. They gave up 4, though, to Buffalo and St. Louis on this road trip. So I'm kind of interested in a Carolina team total here in this game this afternoon. That's probably the way I would approach it. I certainly don't want anything to do with the big money line price at minus 180. I will say LA's actually won 2 in a row in this building. They won here last year 4-2, and they won here the year before 5-2. So believe it or not, LA has won 2 straight here in this venue. But they're off a nice win. They're on a back-to-back. This has been a pretty lengthy road trip for the Kings, which, by the way, wraps up after this. They go home to face Seattle for their second-to-last game before the Olympic break, and that game is on Wednesday. I don't love these teams that are, they've had a nice road trip. They're, 3-1 on it so far. It's the last game. Everyone's anxious probably to get back home. So I think Carolina could get them here today. Carolina team total I'm interested in. I think we're probably going to see Anton Forsberg here. It is back-to-back. We saw Kemper yesterday. Pretty good chance we see Forsberg. There's no doubt in my mind it'll be Brandon Bussey in net for Carolina, of course, after it was Freddie Anderson yesterday. So the team total for Carolina, I'm interested in that here. I'm also going to sprinkle on this full game over, and the reason for that is simple. It's not that I'm loving the idea of backing an over with LA, who have gone, by the way, 3 straight unders on this road trip, but it's the series history. We've had 6 straight overs head-to-head between the LA Kings and the Carolina Hurricanes. 6-0 to the over in the last 6 meetings. And look at these scores, 5-4, 6-5, 5-2, 4-2, 7-2, 4-3. And this total is only 5.5. So at 5.5, count me in with this full game over. Again, 6 straight head-to-head matchups have gone over the total here between the LA Kings and the Carolina Hurricanes. Plus, I could see sloppiness from LA. Long road trip back-to-back as well. Carolina pounces on some mistakes. So I'm probably going to lock in those 2 bets for sure. Carolina team total here. You can get that over 3.5 at plus money, plus 115 or so. And also Carolina, LA Carolina over 5.5, around minus 110 to minus 115 is the best price out there with that. So, like I said, 6-0. Like I said, I don't love the idea of betting a Kings over. But again, 6 straight head-to-heads have gone over between these 2 teams, and I like the series history overs. They cash more often than not. Not always, but more often than not. As far as props go for this game this afternoon, someone mentioning for the Kings here, Taylor Ward. Is he a former Hurricane? I guess he might have been, actually. That's an interesting point, but let me just fire up the prop tool here that we use. There we go. Okay. There we go. I just want to point out too, Kemper and Shane Gostisbehere. I'm going to dabble with a goal prop there with the defenseman for Carolina. Shane Gostisbehere has actually scored in back-to-back games now for the Carolina Hurricanes, and you can get him in that north of plus 600 range right now to find the back of the net. So definitely, maybe a little bit interested as far as that is concerned. No question about that. Taylor Ward was never, I think, in the Canes organization, but nevertheless, like I said, definitely something to keep in mind. Taylor Ward has been noticeable, I will say that. Byfield scored last game for LA, of course, the game winner for them. Keep an eye on that. I think when you look at the line combinations here, too, for the Carolina Hurricanes, Rod Brindamore's kept things pretty much the same here the last few games that we've seen them play. Keep that in mind. So we'll see if there's any changes now coming off the loss to Washington. But Svechnikov, Aho, Jarvis, Hall, Stankoven, Blake, those guys have been pretty consistently their top 6. Like I said, I think Jackson, Blake, Taylor, Hall, have some value on that second line. So keep that in mind. But Carolina should be pissed off a bad loss, blowing the lead. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Maybe Carolina first goal, first period. If you think they come out strong. By the way, Alex B. Smith. He did send me his plays. He does like Carolina first period puck line here in this game. That's not a bad way to approach it. Maybe a strong start for the Hurricanes after coughing up the lead against the Washington Capitals yesterday. So Alex likes the Carolina first period puck line plus 145, minus a half first period puck line on the Carolina Hurricanes. All right, next up, it is the Stadium Series. It is the outdoor game, ESPN, between the Boston Bruins and Tampa Bay Lightning. We've got Tampa Bay minus 220. Home favorites here. Raymond James Stadium is going to be the venue for this game, home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Total here sitting at, it's actually 5.5 at some spots, 6 at others. So shop around as far as the total goes, and make sure whatever total you like, you end up obviously on the 6 if you like the under, and on the 5.5 if you like the over here in this game. This game is on ESPN, and lo and behold, look who's back. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Since the opening night, I don't know if he's done an NHL game for ESPN since opening night, but he's back in the saddle, and you'll see him a lot now that college football is over. But Sean McDonough is calling this game Bruins and Lightning back in the lead chair for the ESPN ABC NHL coverage with Ray Ferraro. They'll be doing this game. I think Emily Kaplan and Kevin Weeks are both doing like rinkside reporting as well for this, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the crew on ESPN for this Bruins and Lightning game, but should be interesting. First thing to note is obviously this is a colder weather forecast than any of us would have expected for Tampa Bay on a February 1st day. You know, we're looking at conditions that are around 7 degrees Celsius right now if you're using the Canadian scale. It is cold weather. It's supposed to be, I know, around, they're even saying that by the puck drop of this game, we could be close to that 32 degrees Fahrenheit mark. Like we're looking at high 30s Fahrenheit for the Tampa Bay Lightning area. And right now to say that that's the weather, I mean, this is like a gift being given to the NHL that the weather is going to be this cold in Tampa Bay for February 1st, because if not for the weather, this could have been, you know, and look, the ice conditions from what I've read, they're still a little bit suspect, a little bit questionable. You know, Anthony Cirelli, who do you believe? Anthony Cirelli says, you know, we practiced out on it. It seemed okay to me. And then you hear a couple of the Bruins players, and Charlie McAvoy was the one that was most outspoken about, the ice looks soft. It's still chunky. It's, you know, it wasn't really that smooth. It was hard to make the crisp, you know, tape-to-tape passes through it. Yeah, certainly he thinks there's room for improvement in the ice conditions for this game later today. So it depends on who you hear. It's funny. It's almost like the Lightning were defending their turf, if you will, saying, the ice seems okay to us. If you ask the Boston players, and Charlie McAvoy in particular, they didn't seem too impressed with the ice conditions, you know, going into this game. You know, late, I shouldn't say late this afternoon. It's actually an evening start, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So, but the bottom line is this is better than what the alternative could have been, right? This could have been 50, 60 degrees Fahrenheit in Tampa Bay, which it still can often be at this time of year as far as the temperature, and it's not. You're getting, you know, high 30s Fahrenheit, you know, which, you know, it's a lot better than the alternative. So at least you have a puncher's chance for the ice to be at least in as good a condition as you could ask for. Plus, they've got all the tools they use to try to make the ice as playable as possible, despite, you know, the venue, just like they did when they did the Panthers Rangers outdoor game for the Winter Classic last month. So, like I said, that's going to be something to watch for. That's why this game for me, it's more of a live for the total. It's definitely a live betting game. You know, I want to see how smooth this ice looks right from the opening puck drop. That's definitely going to be something to see and how that plays out. This is definitely one situation. You know, the outdoor games, I'm never in a rush to expect a shootout, you know, high-scoring games necessarily. And I would be surprised if we, you know, I wouldn't be shocked if we see, you know, things maybe not click offensively here in this game. And again, the ice conditions are imperative to me. Why would I bet the total pregame when, you know, I'm not sure what the temperature is going to be at game time yet? We're not sure how good this ice conditions are going to be and how well it's been maintained for the start of this game. So this is all for the total going to be a live look for me when it comes to Boston and Tampa Bay. It looks like Jeremy Swayman and Andrei Vasilevsky will be your goaltending matchup. Obviously, it's going to be Vasilevsky for Boston. Maybe a little more doubt with who it'll be for Boston, but I'm sure it'll be Jeremy Swayman. But I expect Swayman and Vasi. Vasi's been unbelievable, and that is putting it mildly. He's just been on an incredible run for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He is back in his absolute Vezina Trophy form right now. He's won his last 5 starts. He's given up just 4 goals in those 5 starts. Do you know that Vasilevsky hasn't lost a regulation start, okay? A regulation start for the Tampa Bay Lightning since December 18th. December 18th. That's a month and a half ago. The last time the Lightning have lost in regulation with Andrei Vasilevsky in net was December the 18th. 13-0-1 in the last 14 starts for Andrei Vasilevsky. So, you know, he's been great. But the key thing I said was regulation loss. He still has had 1 overtime or shootout loss in his last 14 starts. 13 wins. The 1 loss was in overtime or a shootout for Andrei Vasilevsky. That is how good he has been. So, yeah, it's damn hard to bet against Tampa right now. But I think Boston's going to show up here. The one concern, we've said this with Boston all year, why do they not play the way they do at home on the road? Why has there been such a big gap? Why has there been such a wide gap, home versus road, for them this year? 21-8-1 at home at TD Garden, which is excellent. That's an unbelievable home record. 21-8-1 at TD Garden, but just 11-14 on the road this season. The Boston Bruins. They have just had one of the sharpest, biggest home road dichotomy splits in the NHL this season. So that's the concern I would have here. Tampa Bay, by the way, if you look at the head-to-head series, what's actually weird about it is that, Tampa's won in Boston, but Boston won the last time they were in Tampa. So Tampa's done a good job winning the last couple in Boston, but Boston did win in Tampa the last time they played here. Keep in mind the 2 wins for Tampa in Boston. One of them last year, March 15th, that was after the trade deadline, and they were selling off everybody last year at the trade deadline. So that was a skeleton crew that Boston had against that Tampa team. And then, of course, earlier this year, they played in October, very early in the season. Tampa got a 4-3 win against the Boston Bruins. 5 overs, 5 unders in the last 10 meetings. I think the draw has tremendous value here in this game. I do. I think this is worth a draw bet to me, because I think Boston will be competitive. I do like the way they're playing. Now, again, all these games have been at home, all these wins. Philly, Nashville, Montreal, Vegas, all home wins. They got to show they can do it on the road now, which has been an issue at times. But I think they'll be competitive. I think they'll be in the game. They did go to overtime the last road game they had against the New York Rangers early in the week. Yeah, this to me, I think the draw has legs here, has a shot. I like the price too with the draw. This is well worth a sprinkle in my mind here. Boston, Tampa Bay draw in this game. I'm not going the full distance here, taking Boston. Not with Vasilevsky in his current form. But I do think they'll be in the game, and I do think they have a chance to force overtime. Boston plus 180. That price, I would lean that price. I mean, I'm not laying this price with Tampa, but, going against them at the same time, not that interested. And Boston's been too disappointing, I guess you could say, on the road. But I do like that draw. That draw is a great price. Plus 350 is what I'm seeing with that draw for Boston, Tampa Bay. I like that here in this one. Live total is what I'm going to look at. But the only pregame bet for me here is the draw on this one. Alex likes Boston. Alex does like Boston here in this game. Plus 180 for Alex B. Smith with the Boston Bruins. I lean that way. Trust me, I do. But, when you're talking about a goalie and a team playing this well right now, like the Tampa Bay Lightning, it's not easy. I could see this going to overtime. That is for sure. I could see Boston being good enough to get it to overtime. Would they win in overtime or shootout? That remains to be seen. But put it this way, I'd rather take the plus 350 with the draw, the better, bigger price than the plus 180 with Boston. That's really what it all boils down to here for me in this one. So I am on the draw. We'll look at the total live during the game. As far as props go for this game, there are a few that stand out. I mean, I'm going to sprinkle on Darren Radish for the Lightning. He scored in 3 straight games. He's plus 400 to find the back of the net for the Boston Bruins. Casey Middlestat scored last game. He had a couple of assists as well. You're getting a pretty good price on him as well, plus 500 to find the back of the net. There may not be many players on this Bruins team playing better right now than the guy they got from the Toronto Maple Leafs last year in that Brandon Carlo trade. Fraser Minton has been just sensational. I think he's got like 15 points in his last 16 games. He's been almost a point per game player. I think 8 or 9 goals during that span. He has scored goals in 2 of the last 5 and 4 of the last 10 games. And he has scored against Tampa in the past, by the way, as well. So if you look at those, actually, I don't think he has not, but still, I was looking at someone else, but he hasn't scored against Tampa, but still, his form's too good not to bet a little bit on Fraser Minton right now for the Boston Bruins. He's been excellent, no question about that. You also look, Marat Husnadinov. We've talked a lot about him. Shout out to Brady Greco, who joined us on Thursday, lives in the Tampa area, is a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. He gave us Dominic James, and he cashed a bargain bin special with Dominic James for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And he mentioned that Dominic James has been, playing with great energy, been noticeable on the ice when he's been in there, and he's on the second line with Gonzalez and Gensel. So, Now all of a sudden, thanks to Brady and him joining us on the show, mentioning Dominic James, suddenly, I've got some interest now with Dominic James as far as props for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And yes, the captain is back. What a time to make his return. We buried the lead. Victor Hedman off IR, back activated from injured reserve, and should be back in the lineup here for this Stadium Series outdoor game against the Boston Bruins. So not a moment too soon. I guess the one concern, but I see right now they've still got Radish on power play 1, so it looks like they might be easing Hedman back in to the lineup, because at the moment they've got Radish still manning the number 1 power play unit, Hedman on the number 2 power play unit. It's not going to stay that way forever, but obviously a sign that maybe John Cooper is going to take it easy a little bit with Victor Hedman back in the lineup, who hasn't played in a couple of months. Dustu Lilleberg still out on the blue line, but now they're down to just 2 defensemen out, and of course Braden Point still on IR as well. So yeah, the draw, if I bet the total, we'll look at it live, and a bunch of those props I mentioned, we will be looking at it. Yeah, Cooper said they're managing Hedman's minutes. That's what I thought. So that's why Radish still gets number 1 power play tonight over Hedman. It's because they're just managing his workload as he makes his return. All right, last game. This is actually also an ESPN game. This is a doubleheader for ESPN in the NHL today. They have the outdoor game with the Bruins and Lightning, and then they have a second game after the outdoor game, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, Vegas, Anaheim. We've got pretty much even money, minus 110 both sides, 6.5 the total here in this game. Yeah, I like Anaheim, but I like the over more. The over's the superior bet to me here in this game tonight with the Golden Knights and the Ducks. You got the shutout angle. Anaheim blanked, goose-egged by Vancouver of all teams on Friday night. I like first period over, too. I'm going to go back to old reliable for this game. The old system play, which hasn't been as steady over the last few months, but it's been a little bit better here the last couple of months. But last year, we were cashing this thing. It was automatic. You take first period over, you take full game over with teams off a shutout loss. It hasn't been nearly as profitable this year, but I think there's a good time to bet it. Anaheim should be able to bounce back offensively after getting shut out by Tolopilo. And now after watching Tolopilo play well again yesterday against Toronto, I think it's definitely, you don't blame Anaheim as much for not scoring. I think they bounce back here. Vegas is still having issues defensively. They've given up 3 goals or more in 6 straight games. Doesn't matter if it's Schmid, who we saw last night, or Aiden Hill, who we're going to see tonight. And Aiden Hill has been nothing to write home about since he's been back from that injury. Meanwhile, you've got Anaheim. Like I said, we should see Lukasz Dostal here in net for them. Mason McTavish might return, is what I'm hearing, for this game. He's missed the last few games for the Anaheim Ducks. We'll see if he's back tonight. But if he isn't, they've still shown, obviously, an ability to win without him. Leo Carlson's still out. And still Troy Terry, by the way, looks like they were hoping to have him back a couple of games now, but Troy Terry is now finally going to return and make his return to the lineup for the Anaheim Ducks here tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights. But yes, does look like Troy Terry is likely to play here for Anaheim tonight in this game. So yeah, I like Anaheim here, minus 110. The one concern I would have is the last time Vegas was on a back-to-back and they were off a loss on the front end of the back-to-back, it was in Boston. They lost to the Bruins, and then they bounced back and they beat Toronto when they had the Mitch Marner return game. So that does concern me a little bit here, but I'm still, I like Anaheim in this bounce-back spot. I do, and they've won both meetings this year against Vegas. So they've played well against the Golden Knights, and they won both meetings by identical final scores, 4-3. So while I like first period over and full game over, this could be a correct score, type of bet here. Worth a shot. Pizza money. Correct score, 4-3. Might be worth it. We saw 4-3, identical final score in each of the previous 2 regular season meetings this year between the Golden Knights and the Ducks. So why not? Why not put a couple bucks on that with the 4-3 final score result here in this game? So yeah, Anaheim money line and full and over by Fecta here for me. First period over, full game over in this one with the Golden Knights and the Ducks. Alex likes the draw here. This is his one draw bet. He is on Vegas Anaheim draw plus 325. So Vegas Anaheim draw for Alex B. Smith here in this one. As far as props in this Vegas Anaheim game tonight rather, We do have back-to-back games with a goal for two Golden Knights, Mitch Marner and close shave Barbashev, streaky player. When he starts to heat up, you start to bet him. And that's what we're going to do here with Ivan Barbashev for the Vegas Golden Knights. You've got them certainly, like I said, back-to-back games with a goal, or back-to-back games with two goals, or back-to-back games scoring a goal for Marner and for Barbashev. And like I said, Barbashev's pretty streaky. So this could be the time to start getting on board some of those Ivan Barbashev props. For Anaheim, I would say the line that I've really liked lately for them is Granlund, Killorn, and Seneca. Beckett, Seneca have played well together as a group, so any of those three are probably viable as far as player prop, goal prop options here for the Anaheim Ducks. Ryan Poehling might be playing with Kreider and Terry, returning Troy Terry. If that's the case, keep an eye on him tonight for a goal prop. He's actually gotten a point in 3 of the last 4 games and a goal during that span. So if Ryan Poehling is up the lineup, there could be certainly a chance to see him find the back of the net. So like I said, the over is my superior bet in this game, but I am on Anaheim. That's a good point that Chris makes, though. They are off a road trip, a 5-gamer. Usually we don't like teams in that spot, but I got to be honest, it's hard to trust Vegas right now. But, I would say if you like Vegas, take a shot first goal, first period. They'll have their legs early. We see the teams on the back-to-back usually start strong and then peter out. So what I would say if you like Vegas, first period angle, money line, and or first goal, first period might be your better option. We'll see. But that's an entertaining game on ESPN, the second game of their doubleheader tonight. Way to go, ESPN. It's about damn time you put some hockey on the main network. 2 games on ESPN, the outdoor game with Boston, Tampa Bay, and then Vegas, Anaheim after that. All right, great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Make sure you check out wizardsportspicks.com. Daily premium picks every single day. It's obviously been a great run since the beginning of the website opening, profitable in the NBA, and number 1 ranked in the NHL and NFL at wizardsportspicks.com. Get on board with any of the handicappers and purchase any of their daily premium picks, and also get on board for a 3-day, 30-day, or 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, and 1-year all sports subscription as well. wizardsportspicks.com. Beyond the Lines video as well. I do the videos for Sundays and Fridays, so make sure you check it out on the YouTube channel as well at wizardsportspicks.com. And of course, check out patreon.com/iceguys, just $10 per month. Goalie charts, totals charts, daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every single day on the Patreon page. So get on board. We've had a great response of signups this month, just $10 per month, and your membership goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. So again, check it out, $10 per month, patreon.com/iceguys. We will do some content for you guys, a little bonus content during the Olympic break. We will have all our Olympic hockey bets posted each day on the Patreon page. We'll still have shows during the Olympic hockey tournament as well to preview each game. But there will be some days with no games and no shows, and we'll try to fill it in. We might even put up a card of, we'll put some NBA and some college basketball, a couple of some bets from some of the other sports going on for me, just to give you a little something on the days when hockey is dark. So make sure you get to the Patreon page and sign up if you haven't already. $10 per month, patreon.com/iceguys. And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. This is it, the last day to take advantage of the discount offer for any Ice Guys store order. Again, 25% off everything at the store for just today only. This is the last day for the 25% off every merch item at the Ice Guys store. So check it out, or for 25% off your order, I should say. So make sure you check it out, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Walk away, leaving you there to suffocation. where the kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis. Check them out, royalcannabisshop.com. 20% off with promo code Ice Guys. All right, bargain bin special of the night. We are going to give you two bargain bin specials here for this Sunday NHL slate, and we are going to give both, and they're going to both be from the ESPN games. We'll give you one from the outdoor game, the Stadium Series game, Boston and Tampa Bay. And my bargain bin special from that game is going to be Fraser Minten, plus 440 for the Boston Bruins. He's been absolutely spectacular of late. Great value at plus 440 with one of the red-hot Bruins going right now offensively. Fraser Minten for Boston, plus 440 for my first bargain bin special of the night. And my second bargain bin special of the night, we mentioned him in the Vegas-Anaheim game. When he's hot, you start to ride him. Close shave Barbashev. Ivan Barbashev for Vegas, plus 400 for my second bargain bin special of the night. So Fraser Minten, Boston, plus 440. Ivan Barbashev, Vegas, plus 400. Both of those games nationally televised on ESPN today. There you go for my two bargain bin specials for this Sunday. All right, best bet. We're going to go right back to Vegas, Anaheim, over 6.5, minus 120 is the best price out there right now. Golden Knights, Ducks, over 6.5. Both meetings got to 7 goals earlier this season between these two teams. Anaheim off a shutout loss. I expect them to bounce back offensively. Vegas is having issues keeping the puck out of the net. Aiden Hill hasn't been great. But Vegas, they can still score goals. They do catch Anaheim off a road trip. Sometimes when you're off a road trip, you're a little bit sluggish, and defensive mistakes, defensive miscues creep into your game. I could see that happening here for Anaheim, and Vegas capitalizing. Goals both ways here tonight at the Pond in Anaheim, or the Honda Center now, of course, as it's been called for a long time. So Vegas, Anaheim, over 6.5, minus 120 for my best bet here for this Sunday. Oh, and Alex B. Smith, by the way, we do want to mention his bargain bin special of the night. Let me just get it here. It is Casey Middlestat. Casey Middlestat for the Boston Bruins. For Alex B. Smith with his bargain bin special of the night, plus 500, Casey Middlestat for Alex B. Smith. So again, Casey Middlestat, plus 500, Boston Bruins for Alex B. Smith with his bargain bin special of the night. And his best bet is those Boston Bruins. He has taken that plunge and taking them plus 180 as his best bet here for this Sunday NHL slate. So Bruins plus 180 for Alex as his best bet, and Casey Middlestat for the bargain bin special. There you have it. All right, shout out to everyone in the chat at the like button. We appreciate it very much. Enjoy the day. I know there's only 3 games. There probably should be more games than that, but obviously they want standalone games for the outdoor game and the other ESPN game. I'm guessing that's why there's only 3 games. They want the ESPN games to stand alone, but nevertheless, it's only a 3-game slate, but still pretty intriguing games, especially those 2 ESPN games later. Looking forward to that for sure. And we're back here tomorrow, same 2 p.m. Eastern. And our friend from Nashville, he joined us previously on the show once, Patrick Murray. He'll be back on the show with us tomorrow to break down the Monday card, along with Perlo and perhaps Alex as well if he's feeling better. So make sure you join us for that. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the games, and good luck. We will be back with you tomorrow on Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.